Hey, what's going on? This is Johnny here, and I want to welcome you to day one of the bootcamp training. So, before we really dive into the technical kind of know-how stuff, I wanted to ask you a question first, and that is, why are you here? What is the reason that you're actually looking into starting a home business? There's a pretty good chance that if you're here, you might be with me for a long time, right? It might even be years, and I think that we're probably going to have a fun journey together, but what you have to understand is that it's not always going to be easy, right? You're going to have days where you just don't feel motivated. You're going to come home from your job some days, you're going to be tired and you're going to be frustrated, and you might just not want to work on your home business that day. And, this is just one of all kinds of roadblocks that probably are going to come up as you're building your business. And, in order to actually keep on going through these tougher times and actually plow through those roadblocks, you're going to have to find and you're going to have to really define your reason why. You're going to have to figure out why you're really wanting to build this business. Now, one of these, this is one of those lessons that a lot of people they kind of skip over it, right? Because they feel like, I don't really need this hocus pocus kind of mindset stuff. But the difference between a top earner and somebody who fails in this business is that the top earners were able to keep going in spite of the hard times. So, most people, they just want to know, hey, how do I get paid? How do I get money into my bank account? But figuring out your reason why is a very crucial step to creating success in your business. And I think that one of the reasons that I struggled for such a long time was I simply just skipped over this step, right? So I'd work on my business and I'd work hard for a week or two, or maybe even a month or two. But then maybe I got a little bit confused. I got hung up on some step, or I got busy, life got in the way, and I would just give up. And over again, I would let life get in my way. So as soon as I got a little bit tired of it, I would quit for a couple of months, right? And then one day I'd have a particularly bad day at work, and then I'd be back at it again, right? Because I wanted to get out of this job. And, that type of an on again, off again kind of business is just never, ever going to take off. And this cycle really continued in my business for a very long time. But then early in 2014, I actually had a talk with a very successful network marketer, and she really helped me to see the importance of having a real strong why. So, what's your real core desire? Deep down, why are you starting this business? Why do you want to make extra money from home? Initially, a lot of people are probably going to say that, well, I don't want a boss, or I want a Ferrari or a Lamborghini, or I want to be a millionaire. Well, of course, everybody wants those things, right? I want those things too, but those reasons alone were just not enough to really keep me up late at night working on my business, even if I was tired or if I had to work early the next day. I would much sooner just, lie down on the couch and watch Breaking Bad or Game of Thrones or whatever show I was into back then. And so, it just wasn't until I really found my reason why that I started to see some success. Because now that reason why really started to push me, it pushed me to work harder and to work longer to achieve my dreams. So my personal why is my family, right? I don't actually have kids yet. So for me, it's my parents and my siblings. I want to be able to help them out when they need it, right? I want to be able to really provide them with a better lifestyle and a comfortable retirement when that time does come for them. And so, I think for most people, that's going to really be their why as well, right? It's going to either be their family or somebody else that they love. And so I don't know what your why is. And maybe you just want to be a millionaire. If that's the case, that's fine. But if that's really what pushes you to move forward, then whatever, that's okay. But for most people, they're going to need something deeper than that, right? Money alone is not as powerful a motivator as you might think. Let's say that you just got home from work. You worked a really long day. You're just exhausted, right? And you're frustrated. And all you want to do is go to bed and forget about this day. Are you really going to be able to stay up late to move your business forward just for that Ferrari? Honestly, most people won't. And I know that, for me, money it did not motivate me enough to keep going, especially in those hard times, those bad days. Another example is that, let's say that you had a child. I have no idea if you're a parent or not, but let's say that you were. And one of your children was diagnosed with a terminal illness, right? And the only way to cure them was to come up with $5,000 in 1 week. You would find a way to get that money. You would do whatever you had to do to get that money, right? Even if it meant begging, borrowing, or stealing because you had an extremely strong and an urgent reason why, right? Now, with that being said, we don't want to do anything like that in our business, right? We want to operate with, with full integrity, and I'm sure that you can just really see the raw strength that a real reason why has. So, even if we think about our own futures, I mean, the way that our economy is looking all over the world, I'm no expert, but the governments are not going to be able to take care of our retirements. Social Security is completely dead. I mean, I just looked it up, and the US government is now more than $20 trillion in debt. That is a huge number. So the governments are broke, right? They can't even take care of their own money. Why would we expect them to take care of ours? It's time to take control of your own future, right? And it's time to shape your own destiny. And the fact is, if you change nothing at all today, if you don't change, what it is you're doing and the way that you're thinking, then in 5 years, you're going to be exactly where you are right now. When you do get to the age where you can't work anymore and it's time to retire, what are you going to do? Just keep working? Here's my point. This business is not a way to get rich quickly. It's a way to really take care of your future, right? It's a long-term plan. I actually recommend that you treat your business like a job, at least, in the beginning, until you've built up some momentum and you're actually getting some residual income coming in. At that point, you can really start to live a pretty cool lifestyle. But before you really get started, you have to figure out why you're here. I recommend you actually write it down. Physically take a pen and a paper and write down your reason why. Write it down and hang it up on your computer or on your fridge, just somewhere that you're going to see it every single day. So that way you're always going to be reminded. And, that reason why is going to stay strong and fresh in your mind. Now, one of the hang-ups that I think a lot of people have about creating wealth is that they think that rich people are bad, right? They've been conditioned from the time that they were a little child to think that rich people are greedy and rich people only look out for themselves. But one of the things that I've come to realize is that God did not put you on this planet to be broke and miserable. He put you here to be prosperous. He put you here to build things, right? He put you here to glorify his name. And I believe that is really why we're all here when it comes down to it. But when you're completely broke and you're making just enough money to put food on the table, it is really, really tough to be generous, right? All you're thinking about is, where am I going to get that next dollar so that way I can feed myself and my family? And so for me, I believe that prosperity is actually spiritual, right? It's biblical. We are called to be good stewards of our finances. We're called to be good stewards of our gifts. So that way we can be generous, right? That way we can give to those people who are less fortunate, who are in need, right? We can tithe to our churches, and we can give to charities and other things that we really believe in. The thing is, money is immoral, right? Money is not evil. Money is not good or bad. But we do have to be careful once we get to a point that we're starting to create some wealth, that we don't get caught up with greed, right? Don't make money your idol. If you are a person of faith like I am, and then you believe that your money is not really your money, right? Father God has put you in charge of a certain amount of wealth because you've demonstrated that you can be a good steward of his finances. So you're going to build wealth so that way you're going to have an inheritance to pass down for generations to come, right? And you're going to do everything that you do to glorify God. I really believe that should be the true motivator deep down for everybody who's looking to build wealth. It's not just so that you can, buy a big mansion and a bunch of fancy cars, right? It's really to fulfill your God-given purpose in life. So I really hope that you didn't skip over this video. It's just such a crucial step in building a business. And, the how-to stuff is coming. But before we really dig into that, I just want you to really get your why figured out, right? Get your mind right. So that way you're going to have the strength and the excitement and the urgency to keep on going regardless of what your life might throw at you. The fact is, this business is not easy, but it does become very simple when you're in the right frame of mind and you have a set of step-by-step instructions and a proven blueprint to follow. So that is it for this video. So tomorrow or maybe the day after, you should be getting another email from me, and that email is going to contain the second lesson. But if you want to just take a day or take a weekend and go through all the training at once, you can always scroll down to the bottom of any one of these lessons and click on the next lesson button. So that is it. I hope you got value. Feel free to leave a comment down below this video if you have any thoughts or questions, and I will see you in the next lesson.